Hi, I'm Jim Overberg. So I'm a public speaking student at IUE East. This is my persuasive speech submission. Every day in America, people are involved with prostitutes engaging in sexual activity. In some cases, it's a brothel masked as a massage parlor. It could be sex in a car with a streetwalker. It could be a call girl in a hotel room. But in every single case, except for a few counties in Nevada, it's illegal. Prostitution is around all of our communities each and every day. The fact that it is illegal facilitates and encourages criminal activity to engulf the prostitution industry. Human trafficking, rampant drug use, and violence often accompany this industry. Prostitutes can't report if they have been abused or robbed because of the legal nature of their business. Prostitutes do provide a service to society. They provide sex for a fee. Sex is a necessary component for humans. It's healthy, and it helps the human well-being. Prostitutes do have a right to earn a living and pursue happiness as the rest of us do. So the legalization of prostitution would only benefit our society economically, as well as it would increase the safety of our nation as well. The Mann Act of 1910 criminalized interstate prostitution, and soon thereafter all the states followed suit, enacting local codes in each of their respective states. In cities across America, cops spend valuable time on surveillance of suspected prostitutes and customers, which results at most a misdemeanor. Cops take time to watch brothels, massage parlors, and activity on streets. Ron Weitzer, professor of sociology at George Washington University, attributes up to 60,000 arrests each year to prostitution. Author Julie Pearl reported in an April 1987 Hastings Law Journal report that the Dallas police made 2,500 arrests out of 15,000 reports of violent crime. In contrast, the Dallas police made 7,300 arrests for prostitution the same year. That resulted in up to 2,300 hours a week in man-hours spent pursuing prostitute-related crimes. These hours could have been used more efficiently, I believe, pursuing suspects of violent crimes, actually helping citizens. But the cost to taxpayers aren't only for police. The cost of attributed to prostitution and prosecuting them would also be the incarceration, probation fees, and court fees as well. The time and money spent pursuing prostitution-related crimes has proven fruitless time and again. Prostitution is referred to as the oldest profession in the world in a book called New Sociologies of Sex Work by Hardy, Kingston, and Sanders. Prostitution has been around for ages. It won't disappear anytime soon. The money spent on policing prostitution could better be spent on equipment, better training, and time on pursuing violent crime, helping victims in the community. The prohibition of alcohol in the early American days proved my point well. It's a vice that's going to be here, and it's better to be controlled and regulated than allowed to be manipulated by criminals. So instead of burdening taxpayers with cost, legalization could provide economic stimulus and also safeguard communities. It could provide significant revenue by licensing fees and taxes paid by sex workers and customers. Janice Raymond, PhD and co-director of Coalition Against Trafficking in Women, says that state regulation would reduce the country to a pimp status. Proponents view regulation and legalization of prostitution no differently than any other business, like a restaurant or a store. And the logic of the proponents makes sense because in today's hookup society, people view sex much differently than in the past, in the more conservative views of days gone by. Women can have sex with any man they choose to for as little a fee as a compliment and a drink, without casting any kind of negative impression upon themselves. So there really would be no good reason to keep it illegal here in the U.S. Every day, men and women become infected with STDs because of activity with illegal prostitutes. Diseased prostitutes continue to spread disease until they're by chance tested and then receive treatment. Laws.com reports that 8% of all STDs are generated by prostitutes. The spread of STDs affects other areas as well as the customer. It affects the workplace that the customer is employed at, lost productivity from an employee not feeling well, or absenteeism. It also affects the other partners that the customer may spread the STD to. Unchecked, STDs can spread rapidly. Author Myra Kier says in a book, For Business or Pleasure, that STDs have always been a problem as far back as the Progressive era in early America. The control of STDs could be better accomplished by strict regulation if legalized. Countries like Germany, Netherlands, South Africa, and Belgium have all effectively controlled STDs and the spread thereof with effective regulation and mandatory testing. Author Alan Brandt says in his book, No Magic Bullet, that many people have believed that all STDs are spread by prostitution, that they're generated and created by prostitutes somehow. Of course, we all know this isn't true. It is certain, however, that mandatory testing and regulation would lower the spread of STDs. Anti-legalization advocates argue that sex workers could avoid the mandatory testing, but it could be regulated such that it's very strict and compliance would be necessary to continue working as a sex worker. Of course, legalization won't solve every single problem surrounding the sex industry, but it will save money for taxpayers without the cost of incarceration, prosecution, and police, to provide more time for police officers to address violent crime and help victims of such crimes. It would provide mandatory testing and regulation and eliminate all criminal activity, or most criminal activity, from the industry of prostitution. It's always been here and always will be. There's really no good reason not to legalize prostitution here in the United States. Thank you. I'm Jim Overberg.